Welcome to the Gym Owners Fitness Business Podcast, proudly sponsored and supported by Evolve 360 Body Scanning, Ignite Fitness Business Events Australia, the Healthy Aging Summit Brisbane, and 20 Perfect EMS Training. Well, good morning. This morning I'm speaking to Phil Horton, Country Director of MIHA Body Tech. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Mel. Great to speak to you.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to our podcast today. Now, Phil, just before we go into, some questions that are going to have some great answers for the fitness business industry, I was just doing some research on the internet and I noticed an article that you featured in not long ago. And in the article, it spoke about how the data was showing at the end of 2017 that Germany had 1,064 EMS studios, which is absolutely incredible. But the magic question, Phil, is what is EMS training?
Well, it's an exciting time for electromuscular stimulation. So that's what EMS stands for. It's a whole body training system that fires your muscles via an external stimulus, which in this case is electricity. So people will wear this suit, and it fires everything from their glutes, their abs, their chest, their arms over a 20-minute period on a 4-second off protocol to really stimulate that muscle in 20 minutes.
Well, it sounds pretty incredible, and obviously it must be working if Germany's got 1,064 studios. So what I need to ask you is why do personal trainers and club owners like myself need to get on board with EMS?
Yeah, well, it's really expanding, beyond Germany. Germany's a standout country. It's where we were born. We started there in 2007, but it's expanding all over the world. France is doing really well. The Middle East. The UK is just starting. The USA has just got FDA approval, so it is really, really growing. And personal trainers really need to get on board because it just it enables them to differentiate themselves in quite a crowded market. EMS is truly unique. It's endorsed from a celebrity sporting world through to what I call everyday champions, everyday people. So you go on Instagram, you'll see the sporting athletes using MIHA Body Tech. You'll go and you'll see Victoria's Secret models and all this sort of stuff using it. And then you'll see everyday people like my mum using it, through to my sons using it. It's a really broad range of clientele. So the key thing is a personal trainer can really differentiate themselves by using this tech and bringing this into their business, let alone it revolutionizing their own personal business model, because each session's at 30 minutes and I wouldn't change my price point. Typically a personal trainer would do an hour session maybe, but they wouldn't change their price point for delivering a 30-minute session so they can earn more money and be more efficient.
So Phil, EMS training, exactly, just tell me what the suit is about. I mean, how do you wear the suit?
Yeah, so you wear a technical garment underneath, a base layer, which the client would generally own. They purchase within their first session, so they would come in. We spray it's almost like a wetsuit type jacket, so we spray it with warm water. We put it on the client, and then they perform slow movements, controlled movements, strong, powerful movements, through this 20-minute protocol, which is then stimulating and firing the muscles. And what it's doing is actually recruiting more muscle fibers than you can recruit during conventional training. And it's also recruiting fast twitch fibers instantaneously. So we can work on the body sculpting, the toning, but we can make more people faster, quicker, more powerful, stronger through this type of training. And that's why the athletes really grab onto it, because it really can enhance their performance.
Okay, so it's more about slow movement as opposed to, running around the room doing cardio. Is that right?
Yeah, the core EMS training is about controlled movement, because you're really talking about an efficiency. So somebody is, really appeals to people that are maybe time poor. that are struggling with the whole getting into a routine, they're busy at work, etc. So that 20 minutes is so important. So we can do dynamic movements, we can do sporting movements, but the best way to optimize your EMS training is actually to really be really controlled. So the more dynamic you are, you lose your core control, etc. So we slow it all down and we do really controlled reps, but focusing on the intensity of maybe your glute squeeze or your core, and really activating each muscle. So we're really thinking holistically about how we're firing and tuning our muscles in during this training session. There are naturally more settings on our machine, so we can go into a metabolism mode and we can do a cardiovascular workout for somebody, we can do body relax, but the core business model is built on this protocol where it's really intense, and each training you would actually need to recover for 5 days. So you would blend it in with some other work, but effectively that's your really strong strength program. And the optimal training is every 5 days, but the optimal business model is once a week.
Wow. So as a client, I only need to go and see my EMS trainer once a week. It's not something that I need to do 2 or 3 times a week.
No, from a strength and toning point of view, that's what you would do. You go see your EMS trainer, you do a really intensive session, and depending on the trainer and the type of the session, you can get, you get the same delayed onset of muscular soreness that you would get during conventional training. It can be really intense, so you get a really good workout.
So, all right. So, Phil, tell me, what sort of clients are using EMS? Because it sounds like to me that it's not like a niche market, only a certain group of fitness, people can use it. It sounds like to me that, anyone from, like, say 18 years of age right up until 50, 55, 60 can use it, and that they don't have to be a certain fitness level. Is that right? Is this something that new people to fitness could use?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about actually not being in the fitness industry, funny enough, because the lion's share of people we're dealing with have never been, into the gym and are looking for that new thing. So it appeals to everybody. And as I mentioned before, whether you're young or old or athletic or not, or never been to a gym, it really does appeal to every type of person. And the clientele of a personal trainer, or the wellness coach or whoever's delivering the session, 1 minute they could be dealing with a high performance athlete, and next could be like my oldest client has been 85 using the machine. The active aging component is really something I'm passionate about, because generally people are aware about cardiovascular fitness, and you talk to my parents or something, use them as an example again. They can't quite cardiovascularly well, but they do no strength training. So this is a bit of a silver bullet in terms of that. There's this term called sarcopenia. So for every year that we age over the age of 50, we lose 0.4 to 1% skeletal muscle mass. So this is really good, and it doesn't load the joints. So when you do your session, you haven't got a big bar on your back. You may be doing some lunges, you may be doing some squats, or reaching down to pick up the grandkids, or using those sort of terms to do these movements and this control, but you're not loading the hips, the joints, etc., with beyond your body weight. So it's really good for that market. But also on the flip side, a high performance cyclist, complex training program, it's really good for them as well. They get injury prone, the aging footballer. It really suits a lot of different people.
So tell me, Phil, how does the product work then with people who are, say, seeking weight loss?
Yeah, so it's going to work as a muscle-based program. So you're creating lean muscle, and therefore your basal metabolism rate will raise. So, I don't necessarily talk to people about weight loss when I do this. I talk about strength and toning and sculpting, blend it in with a good nutrition plan. And an active lifestyle, whether that's in the gym and hardcore CV cardiovascular workouts, or somebody that maybe likes to swim or is doing a bit of walking, or can lead an active office-based program, active meetings, etc. They can really get some good results from it.
And with the EMS, so if I'm a client and I'm undergoing a session with my personal trainer, am I able to wear my wearable technology with it, or does the program show me what's happening whilst I'm working out?
Yeah, typically you wouldn't wear anything. I've worn heart rate monitors from a number of different companies before as well, I record that whilst I do my session. I have my Apple Watch on, and that's cool. And I wear my MyZone strap, and it works well. Yeah.
Cool, that sounds pretty cool because, as you know, most health facilities nowadays have some type of wearable technology implemented into their clubs. Now, probably the question that's on everybody's lips right now is, what kind of qualifications do you need to be able to offer the EMS training?
Yeah, so we have a internal training course that we deliver with every machine that we put in place, which gets the trainers up and running. And then there's a certification course that is a 2-day level 1, and then there's a level 2 course, which is run by a German company called Glucker College, and they run the certification for EMS.
So tell me then, how long does it take to undergo the training and then to implement the product into the club? What would be the span? Is the training a month, 2 months, 3 months?
No, so we would get you could get a level 2, level 3 personal trainer or a studio based. Somebody Pilates coach are really good, yoga, somebody that can control movements, and that's that clear understanding. You can get them up to speed pretty quickly. And then you teach the principles for a 2-day course with that German company, Glucker College. They do training all over the globe, and get a in-depth training course over 2 days. And then it's just about application then. It's just about building, as a trainer, doing session with people that you're close to, build up your confidence in delivering an EMS session, which you would do over the training. We would build them up. They do a few of their friendly clients, etc., or their family, and then they're ready to go. So they can get up and running within 48 hours. Really, it's not difficult to actually apply the technology into an operation.
So a personal trainer that's working in a club really wouldn't need a lot of space if they wanted to set this up as another component of their business, because I was looking online and I noticed that when you had it set up, the space that was required, it really wasn't a great big space, really, was it? It was almost like a small bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. I've done it in very small offices. The system is mobile, so it comes on a nice pedestal unit, but the head of the unit detaches. It goes into mobile suitcases. So I'm based in the UK, obviously, and there's some really good trainers running around London, even on bikes within the backpack, running around to different people's homes and different people's properties and gyms, etc., delivering EMS sessions. You need a plug to power the machine, and then you exercise within 2 meters of the machine.
So what I'm hearing Phil saying right now, if you're a trainer and you're listening to this podcast, you can actually go out to corporate offices and you could be training, the accountant, the solicitor. You can even be going into, the hospitals, and you could be training the doctors in their lunch break or after work. So what he's actually saying is that you can mobile the EMS training product, and you can take it out to all of these different workplaces. So you don't actually need to be set up in a gym. It is a mobile product that can go from place to place, which is really quite interesting.
I think it's the most exciting thing, Mel, about it. So, personal trainers maybe stuck in their four walls of their facility thinking, okay, how do I create the next step to my business? How do I take it to another level? How can I look to increase my income? How can I build up a network of other trainers that are working under my brand? Well, just as you described there, I can go to a corporate office, set myself up there, be there every Monday to do the sessions, put the machine in the space and target the workforce directly. We can go off to a sports club. We can go off to a residential care home. You can really be flexible in where this takes you. Golf clubs, for example, are really good bases for EMS trainers.
I mean, this is really cool. If I was a trainer and I was training clients, to be quite honest with you, I would now be going out to the footy club and, like you said, the golf club and the cricket club, and I'd be saying, can I come into your club once a month and, expose my product to your trainers, and then tell the trainers what the benefits are, so that I could then be bringing those trainers into my workplace, or perhaps even going to their homes and training them. Because obviously, as you said earlier on, they're going to be building on strength, and by building on strength, that's going to enhance their performance when they're on the football field, or whether they're on, the golf course. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea for trainers, to set this business up mobile. So assuming that they've got the business now set up mobile, what do you do to support them after they've purchased the product and now that they're out there training their clients? What type of support do you give them after?
Yeah, so we're there to really support and nurture. It's no point us delivering solutions and not supporting the clients, and they fail or they're not successful, because that reflects badly on MIHA Bodytech and our business. So we're there to really work very closely with the client to make them successful. We support them in everything, so we have full technical and support directly with them, and we even get involved in some of the marketing side of things. There's a full download site via our webpage where they can download images and content to help them market and communicate their business.
I've seen some of the content. It's pretty cool, and that's great that you're helping them out, because there's nothing worse than purchasing a product and then just sort of being left to your own devices. I just think it's really great that you're offering that backup service. What is the future for EMS training and MIHA Bodytech?
Well, I see we've got a lot of work to do. It's still early days for us personally in the UK. We're reaching personal trainers, and as personal trainers grow and they grow their client base and they grow into studios. So what I'm envisaging across the UK is we're seeing it in London, where the boutique studios are really growing. I'm very keen on spreading that across the UK in particular. And then look at the different markets like you talked about earlier. I'll see it in whether it's a sporting profession, whether it's a corporate profession, whether it's in the medical side of the business, to really look at the different sectors to help personal trainers then grow into different spaces and help them be successful. And if they're successful, then we're successful.
I just thought of this question actually while you were speaking, Phil. How would the EMS product help those in rehab? So is it a product that can help those that are recuperating from stroke or from, chemotherapy? Is it something that can be used in the rehab area?
Yeah, that's a really interesting angle for us. I mean, the origins of EMS and muscle stimulation is in rehabilitation. So we see lots of different types of people use it, and your worst case scenario, one of the most extreme we spoke about in a recent magazine article was Alex Lewis, who was a quadriplegic using EMS to stimulate. He struggles to physically stimulate his muscles, so he's using this external stimulus to get well. Neuro patients is really interesting angle where their brain isn't able to communicate with the muscles, so therefore we use an external stimulus to actually drive that walking. And there was this gait. One of the medical centres in London was doing a session a couple of weeks ago with a 32-year-old client, and they did a walk, a 5 metre, 10 metre walk or whatever they were doing, and then they did the session with the EMS suit, and it transformed. The walk was almost perfect. And the consultant was blown away by it. So I think it's a great sort of trajectory for our business that's on that medical side.
I mean, it sounds absolutely fantastic, Phil. I mean, you sort of you're getting into the PT market space, you're getting into the gym space, you're allowing opportunity for trainers to go out into the corporate sector. At the same time, you're helping people get back on their feet, working in the rehab area. I mean, I look at all of the things that the EMS training is offering, and I really can't see any market that it's not tapping into. Phil, with obviously, fitness events are quite big globally. where will your product be in the next event? Where will you be exposing that if somebody wants to come along and have a look?
Yeah, so you'll see us at majority of trade shows. We're raising awareness of MIHA body tech and muscle simulation as a business model. So you'll see us at the FIBO trade shows in the US, in Miami coming up, and you'll see us naturally at FIBO in Germany. You'll see it out at URSA, and I'm sure there's trade shows that my colleagues are doing in Australia and around the globe. We're doing a lot of work with the trade association in the UK called UK Active. So we really are connecting and spreading the good word of EMS training and MIHA body tech.
Well, I'll certainly be seeing you at FIBO USA in Miami in October, because obviously being an ambassador for FIBO USA, I'll be there. I would absolutely love to see your product pop up in Asia. There's a fantastic summit on in 2020 with Ross Campbell. I'll have to give you those details, because I think that this is something, you would be absolutely, you'd be there. You'll be there in a heartbeat, and I'll be tagging Ross in this podcast. Look, Phil, we've had a great chat today, and I know that we've definitely educated people with more awareness on what the EMS training tool is. If anybody's got some questions, where is the best place for them to get in touch with you?
Best place is to literally go to our website, which is miha-bodytech.com, and send us a note on the contact page.
Sounds fantastic. Now, as you heard, Phil will be at FIBO USA in October at Miami Beach. I'll be there as well. As I said, I'll be teaching some classes and presenting. I'm really hoping that Phil is going to get his product across to Asia next year with Ross Campbell's Fitness Summit. I'll be popping Phil in contact with Ross. If you are in the Asian marketplace and you are listening to this podcast, Phil has left you his details. I'll be dropping them in text format in the bottom of this podcast. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you this morning, Phil, and I look forward to meeting you in person, FIBO USA in October.
Look forward to it, Mel. Thank you for your time today, and look forward to hearing from the listeners.
You're very welcome. We'll chat soon.